Sweet and cozy night, and you are here by my side. Bells are ringing and the time is right to celebrate this Christmas. We're gonna have some fun. Merry Christmas to everyone. So everybody gather round and sing with me. Yeah, it's Christmas. Joyful Christmas. Hang out Christmas lights. Let's celebrate tonight. Fairy lights, they shine so bright. We share this very special night. Close your eyes, make all your dreams come true. What a joyful Christmas. We're gonna have some fun. Merry Christmas to everyone. Now everybody gather round and sing with me. Well, it's Christmas, very joyful Christmas. Hang out Christmas light. Ooh, let's celebrate tonight. If you feel alone, don't hide.
Oops. Hey, good evening and Merry Christmas to all you guys out there in Viking Nation land. It is Tuesday night and it's time to have a little bit of fun with you guys. Yeah, I had to. You caught me in mid-camera adjusting stream as I had to adjust my camera. It's been crazy around here. So I started out the week with, I almost didn't do the show tonight because I started out the weekend feeling a little bad. And so it just progressively got worse. And then eventually it developed into an upper respiratory infection, of which I had to go visit the doctor and get some meds. So I'm on some meds now. And so hopefully I will get through the show. Now, you're going to catch me a lot tonight hitting that mute button so I don't cough directly into the microphone because that's just unprofessional, right? So I'm going to try to catch it in time, like right now. I'm going to try to catch it in time. So not 100% yet, but I'm getting there. The modern day medicine is fantastic. I got to give kudos to all those guys that invent that stuff. Fantastic stuff. So we got a pretty fun show tonight. I think you guys are going to like it. I really do. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to, because it's the end of the season, basically, we got a handful of games left, and we'll talk about some of those bracketology things as well. Of course, we got to provide a Lowndes update, and you guys, let me see, is that queued up? I don't think it is yet, but you guys might be in for a shock tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to find that now. Hold on one second. Yeah, you guys might be in for a shock tonight when I make this announcement. So make sure you go tell everybody. Make sure you go tell everybody, because this is a major announcement tonight. And I think you guys will like it. I really do. So, but you also got to keep in mind that it's coming from LG, so you never know what's going to be shared with you guys. So anyway, you'll have to stay tuned to later in the show to find out who the next Lowndes head coach is going to be. I'm ready to make that announcement right here tonight. So call all the administrators. There's no sense in delaying this anymore. So call all the administrators. Let them know that LG's got the scoop, and it doesn't matter who's still in the portal, who's still being interviewed, who's still being, who's still playing in the playoffs and the state championship game this coming weekend. We have our coach, and it's going to be announced right here tonight in about 20 minutes. In about 20 minutes. So I will show that person's picture live on air tonight in about 20 minutes. So anyway, so y'all spread the word, stick to, but you got to keep in the back of your mind that this is coming from LG. So it's going to be funny. I think it's going to be not funny, but it's going to be fun. A fun discussion to talk about. Yes, Alicia Hilton, wow, is right, because you guys will not believe the name and the image that I've been given. Tiara, she says, I feel like there's a catch. Laugh out loud. Tiara, listen, I consider you a Lowndes super fan. As a matter of fact, we've got a group text called Lowndes super fans, which you're included in. So you know that I've pulled some pranks over the years on you guys. So I'm not saying this is a prank, but I am going to make a major announcement on air tonight. So we're going to see in about 22 minutes now. So anyway, so y'all stay tuned. Until then, we got some exciting stuff to talk about. We got some things like, one of the cool things that we talk about is, since we're in Georgia, the state of Alabama had their state championship game last weekend, because they play 4 rounds. Now, or the bigger classes anyway. Not the bigger classes, but the largest class, 7A, I believe. They only have 32 teams in the highest class. So because of that, they only have 4 rounds. So 4 rounds for the largest class over in Alabama. And so Thompson High School is your state champion over in the state of Alabama. I think this is this 4 years in a row? It very well may be. It's either 3 or 4. I can't remember. But Mark Freeman, he's a big name that I threw out there last time when Jamie DuBose had left, and we were talking about his replacement. So I threw out their names like Mark Freeman, and you can see why. And now you might say his team is loaded with studs, things like that. If you saw a picture of his offensive line circulating on Facebook, you see why they've played so well. But the surprise is he won the state title game with an 8th grader at quarterback. An 8th grader at quarterback. So 1, this kid is a phenom athlete. And 2, kudos to Mark Freeman for being able to utilize a kid that young in the state of Alabama to win your state championship game. Man, oh man. And I've seen some highlights of that game. So he made some incredible throws. I mean, he's got an arm. You can tell that he's an 8th grader. He's still a little bit undersized, but he's got the arm strength, and he meets the eye test. And man, oh man, that kid's incredible. But if you were to supplant him into the state of Georgia, would he been eligible to play in a state championship game in the state of Georgia? What do you guys think about that? You think he would? Before I give you the answer, I'll wait and take some of your guesses on the White Oak Investment comment line. Speaking of the White Oak Investment line, I want to make sure that I thank my sponsors. And the first sponsor is Pepsi Bottling Company. You guys know these cats by now, or these Vikings by now, I should say. Fantastic Viking supporter. Doyer Deloach, he stuck with us all year, and the guys at Pepsi Bottling Company. Thank you so much to these guys for sponsoring our program. Thank you so much to Shade of Perfection. I don't know if it's too late to get your order in to have it installed by Christmas. Probably is. Since it's December 6th. But Tim Neesmith, if you're watching tonight, shoot me a text and let me know, and I'll make that announcement. But regardless, when you have them installed, if you want the best of the best, give this guy a call, Tim Neesmith. He doesn't cut corners. This guy is awesome when it comes to custom shades and blinds. A Shade of Perfection, Tim Neesmith. I had a conversation with someone about this guy today because I got called today because I'm in the healthcare business, and so I got called today and asked me if I'd heard of migraines medicines or if I'd sold any in the past. I said nope, never sold it, so I don't know anything about it. But I can tell you that Josh Batson at the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta is probably considered the expert in this area. He is a certified headache medicine specialist. He and Justin Haskin, and they run the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta. And so if you have the need for their services, give them a shout. What do you got to lose? You're suffering now. So you might as well take a shot and see if they can alleviate some of that suffering that you're experiencing. So give the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta a shout if you have need for their service. I mentioned Kyle Congrey. I had a call with Kyle the other day. And we were talking about the market because in the market lately has been going up. And I called him. I said, do you think I should go ahead and spend some cash to buy some stocks at this low level now? Because I noticed they're starting to go back up. You know what he told me? He said, no, let's wait. I think there's going to be another dip. So don't jump in now. So just what? So I'm telling you this story about this conversation I had with Kyle to let you know it would have been very easy for him to say, yeah, let me go ahead and place that trade for you and collect some commission. No, he gave me his honest advice. He said, no, let's just wait. And to me, that's worth the price of gold because he gives me good, sound financial advice. Does it always go the way he predicts? No, it never does. But he's more right than he is wrong. And I've been very pleased with him. And he's at least worth a phone call at the beginning of the year. Wide Oak Investment, Kyle Conger, 229-850-8848. Hope you'll give him a call to start your financial plans. Thank you, Matthew Godwin, Verizon Wireless on Perimeter Road. If you have the need for iPhones, Androids, accessories, small business accounts, and you want to get them in place before Christmas, go ahead and give Matthew a call. iPhone 14. I don't have one. I still have the iPhone 13 Pro, but I hear the 14 is pretty dang good. Apple don't make junk. But if you're an Android guy or girl, then give Matthew a call. He can help you there as well. Matthew Godwin of Verizon Wireless on Perimeter Road. We want to thank Steve Nichols. Freedom with Steve Nichols. If politics is your drug of choice, and some people are addicted to it, right? And we like that arguing back and forth sometimes. If politics is your cup of tea, then you won't get any better than starting your day off with Freedom with Steve Nichols. He can be caught. You can watch that. I've helped Steve with that venture. And so we've kind of streamlined that. So the easiest way to check that out is to go to the website, freedomnetworks.com. That's networks with an X. That's WORX. freedomnetworks.com. And you'll see when his show starts live, it shows right there on the website. You can choose to listen to it. You can blow it up, make it full screen to participate in the comments, all that stuff. So it gives you directions right there on the website. But the cool thing is it starts playing immediately when you go to the website. So that's Freedom with Steve Nichols. We want to also thank Commercial Banking Company, the local hometown bankers. CBC Bank, Commercial Banking Company has been in Lowndes County for a long, long time. And that's why you guys all recognize the name. They're in that big building as you're driving into Valdosta on North Valdosta Road. They also have a location in Hayhira. And I believe they have another location. I can't remember where, though. But if you have the need for traditional banking services, whether personal checking, savings accounts, CDs, IRAs, if you need auto loans or mortgage loans, business loans, give the folks at CBC, Commercial Banking Company, a call. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Now, on with the show, as the producer says. You know, one thing that I discovered over the weekend, as I was not feeling well, I was trying to, instead of drinking coffee all the time, because, you know, drink something warm just to soothe my throat. And I love coffee, but I was drinking, it was just starting to taste bland. So, you know what I did? I dumped a pack of hot cocoa and mixed it with my regular coffee. Man, you talk about a good drink. Oh my gosh, that is a great drink. So, and that's what I'm enjoying right now. Cocoa coffee. So it's fantastic. So let's go to the White Oak Investment comment line. See who you guys. We got some regulars out there. Hey, Trip Block, hadn't seen you in a while in the comment line, buddy. What's up, man? Trip Block is a Lee County super fan. And now I know some of you guys, I know how you feel about Lee County, but Trip Block is one of the good guys. And when I say good guy, he's one of the good guys. Trip, I'm honored that you're watching the show tonight, buddy. I hope you're doing well, and Merry Christmas. Kenneth Hurst, long time viewer of the show. Kenneth, man, you're starting to become a regular. Why don't you start calling in, dude? You got to have some great knowledge. Love to pick your brain about Thomas County Central, some of those teams over there in the Southwest Georgia area. You are considered a super fan, so start calling in, dude. And if you guys want to take part in the show tonight, I'm going to go ahead and put up the call-in line. That number is 229-469-1205, because we got a little bit of talk about when it comes to one of the semifinal games. On last week's show, I talked out loud about thinking about going to, the Fitzgerald semifinal game. I thought about going to the Colquitt County semifinal game against Carrollton because there was such a short drive. So we ended up going to the Colquitt game because it was closer. It's 45 minutes versus an hour and 15, 20 minutes up to Fitzgerald. So we went over to Colquitt County and we saw Alicia Hilton there. So she grabbed my attention and we chatted a little bit after the game. We saw some other Lowndes folks there. We saw some Valdosta fans there, basically football fans, crazies like super fans from all over South Georgia were there. Carrollton brought a really, really good crowd. It was a great playoff atmosphere. I mean, when I say a great playoff atmosphere, it was fantastic. It was so good. Chris Pace just made it funny. Chris Pace is a big Coffee County fan. He is joining us on the White Oak Investment comment line. He says, "Yo, LG, I see you like coffee. Get it? Coffee in your cup," because he's a big coffee fan. I am a big coffee fan. Now that Coach Mike Coe is over there, listen, I liked Robbie Pruitt, but I don't know why. I just because I've got a chance to talk to Mike Coe a couple times. When I was helping Phil Jones with his show, Mike Coe would come on when he was down there at Madison County as a head coach, he would be interviewed by Phil every once in a while I was on the air. So I got a chance to build a rapport with Mike Coe. And then once he was announced as the head coach for Coffee County this past season, he graciously agreed to sit down for about a 30-minute interview. And then we stared at each other on the screen, did a virtual interview. He was we've kept in touch throughout the season. As recently as I think either last week or the week before. So great guy. So yeah, Chris Pace, I'm a huge Coffee County fan, mainly because of Mike Coe, because I think he's a great coach. You know what I told Mike Coe? When the Lowndes job opened up, I knew that people would start talking about his name, and as well as Tucker Pruitt and Jason Strickland and that kind of stuff. And so I told Coach Coe, I said, listen, I think you are a great fit for Coffee County, and you've done wonders with that community. That entire community has really bought into what Mike Coe has done up there. And he completely agreed. He says, I love this community. I love these kids. I love this school. I can see myself being here a long, long time. I said, Coach, it seems like you've been planted there for a reason in that community. And because the entire community has bought into you, I think you just need to stay planted there. So anyway, we had a fantastic chat. So Chris Pace, I think you guys have a great one up there, and it's only going to get better. Yeah, I do agree with something that Coach Trainer said. He said Coffee needs to work on a passing game all off season. Yeah, I do agree with that. I don't know the situation up there. I didn't follow the passing leagues or the quarterback situation up there. I don't know what kind of talent that Coffee County has as far as passing quarterbacks goes, because they've mainly been a run-based team over the years. They've had some good passers, they have, but they've been mainly a run-based team, and that might be the caliber of their athletes until he starts to develop that into a passing game. So we'll see how he does moving forward in develop. So, but Coach Trent, I agree. You do in modern day football, especially in 5A or above, I think you have to have a complementary passing game. It doesn't have to be 50-50 pass to run. It doesn't, but it does have to complement your run game if you're going to be a heavy run team, right? Just to keep other programs honest. Excuse me. So anyway, who you like, Ware versus Warner Robins? God, Mac Brown says, he's jumping right into the bracketology. He says, who do you like, Ware versus Warner Robins? Mac Brown, flip a coin. That to me is a toss-up game. It's going to be on a neutral field. I think it's going to be a pick 'em. I think whoever gets off to the hottest start is going to win this game. It just is. Now, as far as the odds, if I had to lay odds down, I think you got to lean towards Ware County because I think they started the year red hot. They have finished the year certainly red hot, and they've got a very diverse offense. So if you shut down the run, they can throw it. If you shut down the pass, they make you defend all 100 yards of that football field. And I just don't think Warner Robins is there yet. Now, their defense, Alicia Hilton makes a good point. Their defense has tremendously improved. It's one of those situations where, Marquise Westbrook had to basically start over. His offensive coordinator graduated a lot of folks. His offensive coordinator went over to become the head coach for Houston County. So he basically had to rebuild his team. And so he started out kind of slow, but you saw it. He got better and better and better as the year went on. And now here they are back in the state championship game again. So it's not a situation where Warner Robins reloaded. No, they reloaded for 4 years, but this year they rebuilt. And you got to tip your cap. It doesn't matter if you're not a Warner Robins fan. You have to tip your cap to Marquise Westbrook and what he's been able to do. Now, I'm sure there are haters out there that are going to say, well, it's because of this circumstance, or he got lucky here, got a bounce here, got favorable calls there. Listen, that's football. All that stuff goes into the mix, right? But you still got to tip your cap to a guy that basically lost everything, including his offensive coordinator. And here he is in the 15th game of the year playing for a state championship. Now, it happens to be against a undefeated Ware County Gator team, right? That I'm going to lay it out there the way it is. They punished Coffee County, didn't they? Took them behind the woodshed and beat the stew out of them. Now, Chris Pace, those aren't fighting words. That's just reality of what happened. Now, will Coffee County return the favor next year? We'll see. But this year, Ware County wore out Coffee County. They did. But you're not just singling out Coffee County. They wore out a lot of teams, including a pretty good Calhoun team, right? That many thought that Calhoun would win. So so Georgia coach Trader says oh crap. You could. Thanks, Coach Trader. I had to I had to cough again and hit my mute button and I forgot to unmute myself. All right. At this stage in the game, I might have to throw in a cough drop here just to get through this. So I was about to say, Georgia coach Trainer says that 5A state championship game, that's what he's alluding to. He says this is a battle of two coaches who are pretty high on the Lowndes coaching search. And remember who those are. Jason Strickland of Ware County and Marquise Westbrook of Warner Robins. Two fantastic coaches. Now, Coach Trainer, don't steal my thunder because in about 2 minutes, I'm going to show you for you guys, display on the screen, who the next coach for the Lowndes Vikings is. It will be announced right here on the Viking Nation Live, right here tonight in about 2 minutes. So for all the folks that didn't show up live and they're going to go back and watch this on demand, and there's many of them. It's probably 2/3 of the viewers go back and watch this on demand a little bit later on. So don't give it away. Don't tell them who it is and whatever. If you're going to have to sit through here live for 30 minutes and listen to me tease this thing like I've been teasing it or hyping it up, then let them do it too. Don't give it away. I hope y'all can hear me now. So Jeff Dasher asked an interesting question. LG, since you went to the Colquitt-Carrollton game, what happened with Colquitt? Defeating them in the hog pen is hard. Penalties, lack of explosive plays. Guys, let me tell you, we have to admit something. Carrollton is a very good football team. For the first time this year, we've all known that the Colquitt County Packers, their defensive line in particular, has been undersized all year. But they've been making up for it. They've been compensating for that with their quickness, right? Carrollton's run game was fantastic. Carrollton's offensive line neutralized the quickness of the Colquitt County Packer defensive line. Alicia Hilton, you were there. You can vouch for that. How good was Carrollton's run game, especially with number 3? I think his name's Bryce Hicks. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, he wasn't the only one. That freshman quarterback, Julian Lewis, they call him Juju, he's the real deal. And the bad news for 7A is he's a freshman. He's going to be here for a while, right? So he's basically their Ja'Cory Brown, although he's a much better passer than Ja'Cory was in high school. He can run, he can pass, although I don't think he likes to run very much, but he can pass. Got a great run game. They had a fantastic wide receiver, number 13. I don't know what his name is, but as soon as I saw him line up out there, you saw the mismatch in the DBs. Now, I don't know, I'm sure that Colquitt County has some very, very fine athletic defensive backs, but that cornerback that was matched up, several cornerbacks that were matched up on Carrollton's number 13 wide receiver. That dude met the eye test. He was probably 6'3", 6'4", and the Colquitt defenders were maybe 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1" at the tallest. It was a deadly combination. You got an offensive line that neutralized the defensive line. You got a running back that was such a patient runner, and he was able to pick his holes. Then you complement that with a quarterback that could throw dimes, and he would drop them into fantastic spots. And then you had number 13, and you had some other complementary receivers and tight ends. They were just a complete team effort. I mean, that's how they won. It was a complete team effort. Their defense was good enough to slow down Colquitt County. Now, we're going to get into the Colquitt County deal a little bit later on because there was a controversial play before halftime. It was Colquitt County was up 17-14. Carrollton was driving less than 20 seconds before the half. They throw a ball down there, I think from their 45 yard line. They throw a ball. Kid catches it. No, there's less than 10 seconds left. Kid catches it on the sideline around the 5 yard line. He turns around and starts to sprint towards the goal line. Some say that he stepped out of bounds. Some say that he didn't. And that was key because he fumbled the ball into the end zone and it went out the back. So the Colquitt fans, if you're a Colquitt fan, what are you screaming? That it was a touchback. If you were a Carrollton fan, you were either screaming that the ball crossed the goal line and it was a touchdown, or he stepped out of bounds and with a couple of seconds left on the clock, and they get one more shot. So I'm gonna actually show you those highlights, that particular play, and then I'm going to show you a zoomed in version of this kid's foot. And I'm gonna let you make the decision. It's not cut and dry. It's not cut and dry. And for the life of me, you've got Colquitt. But this happened on the Carrollton sideline. And if you're a Lowndes fan, you know where this is. It's right in front of, it's the end zone right in front of their big scoreboard, right? So you know exactly where we're close to where the Bridgemen sit when they go over there. So you know exactly where I'm talking about. So anyway, it amazes me. We got all these Colquitt fans that are on the other side of the stadium that can see a kid's foot, whether he stepped in or stepped out or all this stuff. I couldn't tell. I was sitting on the 30 yard line on the visitor side. I thought I had a pretty good angle, but I couldn't tell. So we're going to go over that. We're going to do the replay. We're going to zoom in on the kid's foot and let you make the decision. Now, I've been teasing this. Lowndes fans, let me present to you your new head coach. And let me give you a little premise behind the story, or a little backstory. He was on national TV all weekend on ESPN for about an hour, pleading his case, basically begging people to give his team another shot. Well, the decision didn't go in his way. So he has decided to step down from a major D1 university and become the head football coach of the Lowndes Vikings. Lowndes fans, I present to you your new head coach, Nick Saban. Coach Saban, welcome to Lowndes football. We think you look great in crimson and white. Listen, bring all your gear. You've already got the team colors, right? Just bring all the gear, man. We got an indoor facility waiting for you. So anyway, welcome to Lowndes, Nick Saban. Now, all you guys that just watched my shenanigans live, don't you dare give it away to the folks that are watching this on demand. Let them suffer through this for 35 minutes like you just did. Mark Dixon says fake news. The cough drop ain't helping. So listen, guys, it's the end of the year. It's the Christmas season. It's a little bit more relaxed. The rumors are hot and heavy when it comes to the Lowndes coaching situation. Listen, this is a serious story. True story. Just over this weekend, I got a text message from someone in the metro Atlanta area that was for sure Sterling Hobbs. Yes, I was kidding. I think you knew that. So this guy sent me a direct message. For sure knew that the details, the contract was being finalized, and that Adam Carter from the Grayson Rams was going to be announced as the Lowndes head coach. I have not gotten any type of confirmation on that. Trust me, I tried. I tried to get confirmation. I haven't gotten any confirmation on that. There's no announcement that is scheduled. If it is Adam Carter, he's not in the playoffs anymore, so I'm not sure what the delay would be. So, take the rumors for what they're worth. Coach Trainer alluded to a while ago that you got two coaches playing each other in a state title game, that they're still in high regard for the Lowndes coaching situation. And that's Marquise Westbrook and Jason Strickland. Of course, the other hot rumor, this has started since day one and it still continues. I was just asked this yesterday. How serious of a shot does Tucker Pruitt have? I think Tucker Pruitt has a great shot. I'm not sure if he wants to be the head coach here. I don't know. But listen, this time of year, take the rumors for what they're worth. Just take them for what they're worth. Or you can do like me and just enjoy the ride and then comment on it after the decision has been announced. Because sooner or later, we are going to get an announcement, right? Sooner or later, we are going to get an announcement. Now, we were told a couple of weeks ago that we have to wait until after the state championship games are played, because there are some coaches that are still in the playoffs that are being considered. Take that for what it's worth. That's what we were told. Guess what? The state championship games are this weekend. They end Saturday night right around 11:30, something like that. Excuse me. So, Tim Neesmith, don't scare my kids, man. Don't scare my kids. What are you doing? What are you doing? So Neesmith, I had a question for you. I don't know if you caught that earlier. So if someone orders custom blinds for you right now, is it too late to get them installed by Christmas time? I said probably so, but I wanted to check with you just to make sure. So shoot me a text. No, Neesmith, I don't have COVID. I was tested this morning. I don't have the flu. I don't have COVID. It's an upper respiratory infection. So don't be spreading that rumor. So anyway. All right, let's talk about this Colquitt County game, because I want to show you this particular play. I think it's I think you'll like it. Let me make sure. Let me stop sharing that. All right, so here's the actual play itself. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take myself off the screen. I think you can still hear me. But here's the play. So this is what, about 10 seconds left, something like that. So you can see that Carrollton has the ball on the Colquitt 43-yard line. And so Julian Lewis is about to throw a pass deep. And I want you to focus, if you see my mouse over here, focus on this part of the screen right here, because as the camera shifts, that's where the action is going to be. Okay. Look at the receiver's feet. Check this out. Okay, so I just stopped it right here. You see right here, right? So he just caught the ball. He's turning around his left foot. You can't tell where his left foot is. Now, some Colquitt fans, you're going to see the back of his right foot right here as this player clears out. And they claim that you can clearly see that he stepped out of bounds with his right foot. Now, I'm going to play this and then stop it. Could you tell? Oops. Yeah, could you tell what he did? I couldn't. So we'll play that again. So keep an eye on his foot, because this was the hottest controversy, because they ended up converting this and turning it into a touchdown. So Carrollton ended up going into the half up 21-17. All right, here's that play again. Okay, so now we really couldn't tell where his right foot was. And so now you see his left foot as he's continuing towards the goal line. His left foot, can you tell if he's out or not? I can't, not from this camera angle. Now, I'm looking at the people in the background. If you've ever been to a Lowndes game, and you stood there on the field, you get a bird's eye view of everybody's feet, whether they're inbounds, out of bounds, and you can clearly see. And if someone steps out of bounds, or if they're, I know, Tim, you can't see it. So, but I'm looking at the people in the background on the sideline. Notice that they are not reacting at all. And these are Colquitt folks. Most of these folks are Colquitt. Like this guy, I think he is a Colquitt administrator, because I've seen him down there during the Lowndes game. I think he might be I don't know if he's a game manager, but he helps to manage the field situation down there. And so you can tell he's looking right there. He doesn't react like the player is out of bounds, because how do most normal people see? If you've ever been on the sideline, you know that if someone steps out, everybody on that sideline is going crazy and they're pointing at the spot, right? And so none of these background players do that. So let me play this again. Okay. So there's a couple of seconds that go by there, or maybe 1.5 seconds that go by there. And you notice that they've had plenty of time to react, because he caught that ball on about the 6-yard line. Now he's on the 1. And they're still not reacting to it. So that's why I think, based on their reaction, and remember, there's Colquitt people down there as well. And I just don't think that if he had stepped out of bounds at the 5-yard line, that they would be sitting there still watching him continue. Somebody would have jumped up and pointed to that spot right there where they thought he went out of bounds. No, but nobody did it. Nobody did that. Okay, I'm gonna continue to play. So the receiver's got the ball right here in his hand. I don't know if you can see it, but trust me, he's got the ball right there. Okay. He's about to be hit by a Colquitt player that meets him at the 1. And as this receiver extends, the ball is knocked loose and it goes into the end zone. So this is really where the main part of the controversy starts. So the officials eventually say that he stepped out right here at the 1-yard line, and there were 2 seconds left on the clock. And so they put 2 seconds back on the clock, because by this point, the clock had run out. So they determined that he stepped out right there, and that he gets 2 seconds, or Carrollton gets 2 seconds left on the clock. Okay, so here's where he fumbles the ball into the end zone. You see how the people in the background, now they're reacting to that? That's why I'm thinking that if it was out of bounds earlier around the 5-yard line, you would have had people go crazy in the background, but you didn't. They continued to follow the play, because you see it. There is nothing obstructing their view of that kid's feet. They're literally just a few feet away. That's why I don't think that, and this is just guessing, an educated guess on my part as well. What do I know? I see the same angle that you are, but I notice things in the background, and they don't react like fans that have just seen someone step out of bounds. Now they're reacting to a ball going into the end zone. That's what fans do. We react to plays. And so this is where chaos ensues. So the receiver's making this case that he thinks it's a touchdown. So here's the replay. So now they're slowing it down. So now all the officials are conferring and they're trying to figure out. You see the fans in the background here? Now they're getting kind of animated. Do you see that guy? So here's that administrator again, telling people, get out of the way, just back up. He's doing a great job of managing the situation for Colquitt. He really is. So I commend him for that because it could have gotten out of hand in a hurry. So what they're doing is they're conferring with that guy that was in the background. He was that official that was standing right here, and he's looking down the entire time. You can make a strong case that his opinion is the only one that matters. Now, there is a head linesman that is, basically where the play started from. And he probably had a view as well because he's running down the sideline, trailing the play. That's how these mechanics work with these officials, right? So you got two guys. You got the guy that was on the spot, and he's got to make sure that the ball was caught. He's got to make sure also at the same time that the feet were in bounds. That's why you rely a lot. You see it in the pros. You see it in the college. That guy, that official standing right there at the goal line, what will he often do? He will often turn around and defer to that trailing linesman or line judge coming down because that guy usually is watching the feet. So I got to think when these officials huddle up, this guy right here probably checks with that line judge and ask him, what did you see? So they confer. And you saw the official point down, the white hat point down. So I'm thinking that he's probably asking, is this where he's down? Is this where he's down? Then they're probably talking, okay, if he's down, was there any time left on the clock? So at this point, they've already made their decision, and now they break their huddle as officials do, and now they got to go tell both head coaches. And so that's what happens. And so at the end of all this chaos, Carrollton gets one shot at just inside the 1 yard line with 2 seconds, and they run a brilliant play. I'll show you that play. So he's conferring with Joey King there. So this is why radio personnel, whether it's Lowndes, Colquitt, Valdosta, they shouldn't really throw stuff out there and be quick to the gun right there. Because he said, yeah, they're conferring with their coach, but they're not conferring with our coach. Well, he's right there on that sideline. It would make sense that he confers with that coach first. All right, check out this play. So it's basically just a power dive. So that was real to me, not the play, not the going out of bounds, but the play itself. That was a microcosm of this game because that offensive line basically neutralized the Colquitt County defensive line. I was asked earlier by Jeff Dasher what did I think the difference was? Really, I think the biggest difference was Carrollton's offensive line was able to control, for the most part, the majority of the game, the Colquitt County defensive line. And really, that's what it was. Now, y'all saw that in live motion. Okay, so I'm going to take that off the screen now. Now I'm going to share a blown up version, a still version. Okay, so check this out. Let's see, where is it? Where is it? Okay, here it is. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm gonna actually. So you guys remember when he caught the ball, he turned around, he's racing toward the goal line, and this you see this right here. Where is my pencil? Okay. Let me see. Put this on the line here. Okay. There's the ball. You see the ball? Okay. So he hasn't been contacted yet, and that ball is probably right there, just inside the 1 yard line, right? Now, here's the big thing that I don't think anyone can answer. You see the eyes of this official right there. The eyes of this guy right there. The eyes of all these guys right there. I think everybody is looking at this foot. And I'm going to blow this up for you, because that's where they marked him out of bounds at. Can you tell from that angle if he's in or out of bounds? You can't tell. His shoe is white. It's taped up white. The sideline is white. Can you tell? No, you can't. So I can't say sitting here 100% that he was out or 100% that he was in. So those that are making claims, unless you have, now it is true that Colquitt, they've got probably cameras all, just like Lowndes during a game, they've probably got cameras all over that stadium. And maybe there is a down the line view of what's going on. And maybe someone has a better angle, but I haven't seen it yet. And here we are, half a week later, and we still haven't seen that down the line shot. But the best shot that we have from the replay video, is he out of bounds or is he in bounds? The official, that's why they ruled. I don't think it was this foot back here at the 5 yard line. I think I've already given a plausible reason why he couldn't have been out of bounds at the 5. But I can see why, going back and looking at this still shot, I can see why this guy may have said that that foot was out of bounds. That's the way I see it. His foot is flat on the ground, and from this angle, you cannot see any green between his heel and that sideline. So anyway. Hold on a second. So Franklin Webb says, he asked a good question. He says, does the ref go to mark it at the 1? Not immediately. I think the ref recognized that's a huge play. So that's why I think there were 4 refs that conferred on that to huddle up to compare. Listen, I've been an official before. I've made these controversial calls before, right? So during big plays like this, you confer with your officials to make sure someone didn't have a better angle or didn't see something that you saw or vice versa. So I can understand why they would confer first. That's all I'm saying. So guys, this is the subjective part of football. Believe me, Lowndes has been on our end of bad calls, or what we thought as fans as bad calls. The opposition, I'm sure they thought it was a good call. This is just the subjective nature of football. But again, it was 21-17 at the half. It was a 4-point game. It was anybody's game in the second half. So Colquitt still had all the time in the world to turn this thing around, to make adjustments. And I think Carrollton was a couple of scores when Colquitt got the ball. I think in their last scoring possession. They zoomed down the field. They really did. They finally opened up that passing game. Now, it is true that some of their receivers did drop some wide open balls that may have been touchdowns if they catch them clean. It was uncharacteristic. I think Nycard dropped one. I mean, it just fell out of the sky right in his hands. I think he just lost it in the nighttime view because it was dark up in there. And that ball, what's the quarterback's name? Nick Fan. He throws a very high, deep ball. So I can see why that receiver dropped the ball. He may have just lost it in the nighttime sky, Yeah, Joseph Kelly, he's right. Drop balls, that's part of football as well. But my point is, Joseph, is Colquitt still had plenty of opportunities, plenty of chances to win this game. They really did. But I think Nico Fan was throwing Snowgrove. Ty Snowgrove, you were right, man. That dude, he played a really, really good game. He really did. Alicia Hilton says 3 drop passes from the same Colquitt players. It should have been probably so. Carrollton came to play. They had the playmakers. And it was obvious their game plan was to control the line of scrimmage and to run clock as much as they could. I was sitting next to my mom. It was late. It's late in the fourth quarter. I think it was Carrollton was driving down. They just stopped Colquitt. They just got the ball back. And I can't remember how much time left. Alicia, Ty, maybe y'all can help me out. I can't remember how much time was left. But they just did a masterful job at just keeping it on the ground. I think they had to throw a couple of short passes to the outside to convert first downs, but they just controlled the clock and the line of scrimmage the entire game. Hey, caller, welcome to the Viking Nation Live. What's on your mind?
Is it too late to take a call from the one and only Stickman?
Listen, man, it's never too late for you. And plus, you're a sponsor, so I'll stay on as long as you want me to.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. I just want to call in real quick. Ty Snellgard made a valid point, and I've watched a couple of Carrollton's games. I've followed Juju Lewis for 2 years on social media and knew the kid was special, but he don't get sacked.
Yeah,
he does not get sacked. But what I wanted to lean into is me being up there. So something that might be interesting to watch, up last week in the Mill Creek area, last Friday night, some kids broke into a house. The people were out of town. And this is true, I know for a fact, but they broke into a house because they knew the people were gone for a while.
Yeah.
And Snapchat, whatever, 60 to 70 kids broke in this house and had a huge party and destroyed this house. Cops were called. A neighbor seen, something. Cops were called. They was able to catch 3 or 4 kids running. Kids, probably went like ants. But they called 3 or 4, and they didn't say. They just said they don't know whose house it was. It was a Snapchat. But I say that to say, Mill Creek beat Milton the other night, sent them to the state championship game. It's going to be interesting to see if there was any football players involved in this escapade up here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And you can't help but to think there had to be some football players there.
You think so?
I think so. Why else would they have a party? They're going to the state championship game. So it's going to be interesting to see if that comes out that there was any football players at this party. I know there were high school kids. There was 4 or 5 cars left in the driveway. So the cops did get those. So that'll take them to the owners, but they did say park at the golf course or at the country club there. There's by the pool and the country clubs. They told them to park there and walk to the house. So a lot of the cars were at the clubhouse, if you will.
Gotcha.
So I was just thinking, I said, I guarantee you there was some Mill Creek football players. So if that comes to fruition, Mill Creek could be short Saturday night.
Stick, I'm going to ask you something serious, and I'm going to remind you of your Miranda rights, where you have the right to remain silent, mainly because Ty Snellgrove throws it out there that he says, I think Stick was there partying.
Yeah.
You don't have to reply.
Yeah. I can't see Ty's comment, but no, I wasn't there. Actually, a girl that works with my daughter, it was in her neighborhood. So it's just mighty weird to me that they win a big football game Friday afternoon, which was played at 5:00 Friday. So they were done at 8, and then they break into this house, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if there was any football players there.
Stick, can you answer a question for me? I've had this question a couple times today, and I really don't know, but there's a rumor on the internet that goes like this. Is the Mill Creek quarterback's hand broken?
Is his hand broken?
Did he break his hand over the weekend?
I don't know. Maybe he did it breaking in a house. I don't know.
I don't want to start that rumor, but I heard that on another show. Someone brought that up, and now someone just brought this up in the comments here, asking the question: is the Mill Creek quarterback hand broke? Joseph, I have no idea. So
I don't know.
That's a new one on it. Now, if it is true, then Mill Creek might be in trouble.
They might be. Yeah, they might be. Which, I think Carrollton's good now. Carrollton's very good. And I really thought, maybe I was naive. I thought Lowndes had a shot to go up there and beat Carrollton.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously that didn't happen. And I think they're getting better. Joy King's a good football coach. He develops quarterbacks as good as anybody. I mean, Trevor Lawrence lost one time in 4 years.
Right.
And Joy King was his coach. So if he stays there and he keeps Juju for 4 years, Juju's going to break every record that has been set in Georgia.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Georgia, we're going to go over for a few minutes, guys, just to talk about the. So if you're not interested in college football, especially the Heisman talk, I promised during the show description that I would talk about the Heisman race a little bit. So we're going to go over a few minutes tonight. Stick, while I got you, and we're talking about Georgia, were you you're not a Georgia fan, so you're more objective than most of us around here when it comes to this stuff.
Right.
Do you think Stetson Bennett deserves to be a Heisman finalist? That's the first question.
Yeah,
and if so, should he win it?
I definitely think he deserves to be there. And I think he just got an invite yesterday, I guess,
yep.
or Sunday maybe. I definitely think he deserves to be there. I mean, all he's done for 2 years is win. And, to be where he's at, you got to be a leader.
Yep.
And that's supposedly what the Heisman Trophy is about, is leadership. So I definitely think he needs to be there. Do I think he'll win it? I don't think he'll win it. I really don't. Unfortunately, they go by, 40 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. And with Georgia,
if you take a look at his stats and you compare them with the other three, I mean, they're comparable stats. They really are. Now, Caleb Williams probably has the best stats, but Stetson's very, very close. And so people, Georgia people, like our friend Billy Pearson, they claim that because Georgia is 13-0 and these other players aren't 13-0, that the nod should go to him. So
no, the Heisman goes to the best player in college football. And I'm, no offense, Georgia fans, but Stetson Bennett's not the best player in college football.
He may not be the best player on that Georgia team.
No, he about not. I mean,
I think Brock Bowers is.
Brock Bowers probably needs to be there. I mean, that truthfully, and you look, Will Anderson last year was there, but yes, he's had a great year, and Georgia wouldn't be where they're at without Stetson Bennett.
That's right.
But here again, he's not the best player in the country, and that's what the Heisman is supposed to be, is the best player in the country.
That's right.
Now, saying Caleb Williams numbers are off the chart. But did you see what Caleb Williams had on his fingernails the other night? Painted on his fingernails.
I did.
And that, to me, is classless. Okay? That is, I wouldn't give him the Heisman. Had he won that game, I wouldn't give it to him because of that.
Yeah.
If I was on that board. I mean, grow up. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, that's ridiculous.
The way I would rank those four is my pick would be Max Duggan Max Duggan at TCU. Then I would go with Caleb Williams, then CJ Stroud, and then Stetson Bennett.
I'd probably go that. I'd probably swap CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams. But I think Stetson deserves to be there 100%.
He does. Absolutely.
And he deserves to be there, and, go enjoy New York, have a good time. And you know what? He'll probably get the invite to Orlando to the awards they do down there at Disney World. Who knows? He may get I don't know the Doak Walker, but he may get a quarterback award down there.
Yeah.
There's about 4 of them,
Yeah.
that they give away for different things.
There were 2 stats. Now, actually, not 2 stats, but one stat and one totally subjective thing that I look at when it comes to trying to determine if someone's the best player or not. So, do you know how many times Stetson Bennett was sacked this year?
No, I don't know.
Excuse me. Sorry, man. I had to mute the cough. He was sacked 7 times this year. In 13 games, he was sacked 7 times.
Wow.
Do you know
I had no idea.
Do you know how many times Max Duggan was sacked?
Mm-mm.
He was sacked 23 times.
Good gosh.
And Caleb Williams was sacked 27 times. So, it's my point is, it's easier to look a little bit better than you probably are. One, if you have Brock Bowers, you're throwing some, and he's making incredible passes, bailing you out a lot of times. And then 2, if you're being protected like that behind a really, really good offensive line. So if you take a look at these other players that don't have the receiving talent that Georgia has, that doesn't have the offensive line, and they're oftentimes running for the lines, and they still put up the numbers they put up. So to me, that's a partial tiebreaker. The other one is, if you took these players off of their rosters, if you took Stetson Bennett off the Georgia roster, does Georgia still basically do the same thing they did and finish 13-0? I don't know. But there's a good chance, given the supporting cast around them, if you take Max Duggan off that TCU roster, or if you take Caleb Williams off the USC roster, do those teams fall apart? Probably so.
Yeah. I did not realize he'd only been sacked 7 times. Could you imagine if Max Duggan had Georgia's offensive line?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, if you take Georgia's offensive line and put them in TCU's scheme, what kind of number? I mean, he throws for, 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns.
Right.
That's impressive. And then you think back, last year, and I know it's not college or high school, but you look at Joe Burrow with Cincinnati. He was sacked almost 100 times last year. I mean, he was sacked 10 times a game. I mean, it was crazy.
Right.
So they went out and got him some offensive line help. And he still gets sacked, but not as much as he did. But if Joe Burrow had a good offensive line, his numbers would be, I mean, they're already good, but they
That's
would
right.
be. But when you got, Chase out there on the outside, who's one of the best receivers in the league. But, yeah, I mean, he was sacked crazy number of times last year. Joe Burrow was.
Yep.
But I just want to say that about the about the Mill Creek and that party up there, and that could be an interesting development.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. We'll look on the lookout for it. Last question I have for you. I started this a couple of weeks ago, actually about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't know if I ever got an answer from you, but you know how
What's
Lowndes
that?
likes to nickname everything that on our campus sports related, right?
Right.
The Concrete Palace, the Concrete Coliseum, the Concrete Crazies. So it's just a matter of time before we all give the new indoor facility a nickname.
Uh-huh.
What do you think we should call that thing? Do we just call it the multi-purpose facility every single time? Or that's not going to stick. People are going to give it a nickname. So let's get ahead of this thing and lead the charge. What kind of nickname should we give it?
The Viking Village.
The Viking Village.
The Viking Village.
You move up to North Georgia and you come up now with the Viking Village. What is wrong with you?
Well, I mean, what you think? What do you want to call it?
I've gotten some suggestions from our some fans. Mark Dixon says the Bridgman Boom Room. Mark, that one doesn't have a ring to it. Franklin Webb says the Thor's Barn.
How about Grage's Cages?
No. How about this? I got it. How about this? The Concrete Factory.
No.
Man. That was my best shot too.
Let's see. We could
just call it the factory.
DeBose to buy. DeBose to spy. What? DeBose. DeBose something.
People are going to stick the name Concrete on it somewhere. We're in love with concrete. The name Concrete out there.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
But I kind of like the factory, man. That's where Vikings are made.
Well, we could call it that if we start. We get in the portal, and then we could be the portal factory.
There you go.
I hope whatever you're hearing. I don't want Adam Carter as our coach. I hope that's just a rumor.
I think it is. I haven't been able to substantiate it, but you know what? Before that name, someone's claimed that he's the guy. Someone claimed that Tucker Pruitt is the guy, and he was already a done deal, and he was going to be announced. And then someone else said, "Hey, Byron Slack is now interviewing with Lowndes." It's like, wait a minute, I thought we already had our guy. So you hear all kinds of stuff out there. So Lowndes fans, don't get riled up when some individuals start to make certain claims. I think you guys know what I mean. So anyway, Stickman, thanks so much for calling into the show, dude. I think Stickman has left the building. He is always a great guest. He is always. We're called Plowboys, so call it the barn. Oh, okay. How about the Plowboy barn? Or just the barn? I could live with the barn. Okay. So the Viking barn, Lowndes barn. How about the tobacco barn? But I kind of like the barn. Wilbur, you may have nicknamed the indoor facility, man. Can we call it at least the ROTC barn? So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the show tonight. Remember, through the rest of the year, we're just going to have this one show. We're going to combine the Tuesday and Thursday night. We're going to have it on Tuesday night just because I've got a lot of things with Christmas parties and things like that scheduled for Thursday night. So the Viking barn, I like it. So, so Tuesday night is going to be that way for the rest of the year. And then after the first year, we'll kind of reassess, probably take a few weeks off, recharge our batteries, and then come back. Now, all that may change. If we get an announcement that we have a new coach, then I'm going on the air that day. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see how this thing plays out. But until then, guys, you guys have a great week, great month. enjoy your Christmas time, because this time only comes once a year. And it seems like as we all get older, it goes by faster and faster and faster. So with that said, go Vikings, Merry Christmas, and may God bless you. See ya.